Today, let us take up the witnesses under section 118 and 119 of Indian Evidence Act 1872. So, these two sections says about the witnesses. According to Jeremy Bentham, in his book, a treatise on judicial evidence, picturesquely observed that the witnesses or the statements made in court act as eye and ear of justice. So, without witnesses, the court uh, cannot come to a conclusion on the proceedings of criminal or civil cases. So, section 3 defines the about the oral evidence as all statements which are revealed in the court or which the court permits are required to be made before it by witnesses in relation to matters relating to inquiry. Those are all called witnesses. Those are all called evidence. Then we are going to see the witness definition. The witness definition is not defined anywhere else in Indian Evidence Act 1872 except oral evidence under section 3. So the statement outside court not considered as oral evidence, but the section 160 subsection 1 indicates that the police officers are authorized to collect evidence, and then that should be recorded in writing as per the section 161 within subsection 1 of the criminal proceedings. However, it is not a witness as it is not revealed in court. What the definition says, everything, all the witnesses' statements are to be revealed in court, are to be recorded in court. Then the section 118 says or deals about the person must be competent to give evidence. That means the competent to testify. So when a person is prevented from understanding question and to give answers, then they are prevented, such as the persons who are old age, sick, and young. So such are the persons, whether of body or mind. So in body or mind, they may be sick, or they may be tender age, or there may be old age. They are not permitted to give witnesses. Then a lunatic is not incompetent to testify. A lunatic is not incompetent to testify, which means the lunatic is competent to testify. That is, whenever they could understand the questions put forth by the court and to evince interest on the case and to reveal the witnesses or statement in the court, and it is taken as evidence. That is with regard to the lunatic persons. So next, we will be moving on to section 119. Section 119 clearly defines the witness must make oral statements. That is, say, the dumb witness, it says about the dumb witness who are dumb, deaf, and illiterate. So, if the court feels that they are dumb and deaf and illiterate, who could not understand the questions and answers to the questions put forth by the question, then they are not eligible to give witness. Now, then statement must be made in court, and statement must be made with oath. Oath of affirmation should be there, and then witness is subject to cross-examination. So the operant may cross-examine the other persons. Then child witness below 12 years need not take the affirmation of oath because they could not understand what is affirmation of oath. So they are exempted from giving oath in the court. But the important thing, they could understand the question put forth by the court and to reveal the answers. Then uh, then next we are going to see about the Sexual Offences Act with children, that is Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. According to this section, the special court only should be formed and they only should conduct the proceedings of the children proceedings before the court which is coming under the offences against children, that is particularly sexual offences. The important thing to be observed in the court is the child should not be aggrieved or the child should not be perturbed, and a free hand should be given to the child to give evidence. And in some cases even in camera proceedings are made, and there should not be any force or anything with the child to give evidence. These are all to be evidence in case of the protection of child from Sexual Offences Act. So a special court is to be formed and in that only these cases are to be dealt. Then mentally challenged witnesses, that is section 16 of Criminal Evidence Act 1985. This says about the mentally challenged witnesses, that is sometimes so during whether they are in whether the crime has been made when they are in mental state or whether it is when they are in free state, it has to be decided by the court. That is with regard to the mentally challenged witnesses. Section 16 of Criminal Evidence Act 1985 clearly says about the procedures to be followed in these type of cases. And then we are going to see about the interested and relative witness. Interested witness means the person who is interested in the case and particularly with reference to the vengeance of the to take vengeance of the other party or to get some compensation from the other party, and such of those cases are coming under the interested witnesses. So the witness, the people who are giving witness may be interested in getting out of the verdict, something out of the verdict. That is interested witness. And relative witnesses, suppose a person is deceased and the wife is giving evidence, then it is called a relative witness. And then the next we are going to see about Muslim witness who are clad with parda or niqab or they will be having headgear, only the eyes will be exposed. What about the section 55 of evidence says about the Gosha woman. So the Gosha woman, as per the Canadian Evidence Act, there should not be any jabbing, there should not be any force to give witness of the Muslim one who are wearing parda. So they are exempted from giving witnesses. But in Indian, as per the Indian Evidence Act, they should not. So during giving witness, they should not wear parda because then only the court can read the pulse from the face or some of the reactions from the reactions while revealing the witness. So such is the case in case of parda clad woman in case of India. And then the next we are going to see falses in falses in omnibus. Falses in means anything goes wrong even in the preliminary stage, the entire proceedings will be under false. That is called false in false in omnibus. In Tamil it is called mudal kodal muttrum kodal. That is when the proceedings started with some drawbacks and some false in that, naturally there will be the end will also be false. Then we are moving to witness protection and anonymity. So the court will see the protection of the witnesses and anonymity of the witnesses, because the witnesses are subject to cruelty by the opponent party. So there may be some torture to the persons who are giving witnesses. So they are to be protected. So some of the features adopted by the court to prevent the person or to protect the person who is giving witness: the anonymity is maintained, the identity of the person is not revealed, pseudonym is given, and the media persons are not allowed when the witnesses is going on. And in some sensitive cases, the newspapers and media persons are not allowed inside the court to record the witness proceedings. And these are all certain things adopted in protecting the witness and the anonymity. Even the bail is not granted to the accused, and sometimes even the witnesses are collected is sometimes out of the court also. In some secluded place also the witnesses are taken, and sometimes in camera proceedings are also adopted. So by all these means the witness identity is protected and anonymity is also maintained. So in Tamil, witness என்பது ஓரல் எவிடன்ஸ் என்பதை மட்டும் சொல்கிறது. விட்னஸ் இல்லாமல் இந்த வழக்கை முடிக்க முடியாது. எனவே அது கண் காது போன்றது. அதோடு இல்லாமல் 2 செக்ஷன் 118 கொஸ்டினை கோர்ட்டிலே கேட்கப்படுகின்ற கேள்விகளை கேட்டு அதற்கு பதில் கொடுக்க மாதிரி இருக்க வேண்டும். அப்போ குழந்தைகளோ, சிக் பர்சன்ஸ், ஓல்ட் ஏஜ் அவர்களால் முடியாது என்றால் அவர்களிடந்து விட்னஸ் பெற முடியாது என்று சொல்கிறது. செக்ஷன் 119 says about the dumb witness. And then with this we conclude this video.